Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wired Nerdy Podcast. This is episode number 5, and we are on season number 3. See, I got it right, Doug. I messed it up like last season once, and I've been kicking myself ever since. So, this is Keith. Doug, my good friend.
Hey,
How's the week treating you, man?
it's good. We kind of have a milestone to report, and it's all because of the love and passion of what we're doing. We have gone over 500 subscribers on YouTube.
That's a big deal for us, man. I remember we were hovering like around 26 forever.
Yeah, I think we got to 50, and I said, "Oh yeah, we're
Oh, we
going
made it.
places."
We made it. And I think it was after season 1 was after Frank the Tank. We might have hit like
Yeah,
60. And then we hovered at 60 from pretty much all of the rest of season 1. And
yeah,
then
yes,
yeah. And then of course, obviously, having Mr. Rightway on and Neo Ness, like that gave us an awesome bump because they have great communities. But dude, this is great. We hit the 500 mark this week, and I
yeah.
wasn't even really paying attention. And I sent it to you, and I was like, "Oh snap, we did it!" So
Yeah, so I think a thank you to Mr. Rightway, Neo Ness, Frank the Tank, my cousin Kevin, all the guests we've had
every
on. I
guess,
hope I'm not
my
missing anybody.
my brother Brian,
Brian, yes, I'll hear
Alex
about that
Bond.
later. Yep.
We could just keep on going on and on and on.
But
Like
yeah,
we yeah.
we want to thank everybody for making this such a great show. And like I said, this is the passion that we love: nerdy things, techie things, movies, video games. So
Yeah.
thank you for getting us to 500.
What's really cool about it, like Doug and I always talk about, one of the things we love about going to conventions, whether it's a comic book convention or whether it is a video game convention, anything like that, there's this like kindred spirit of kindness of people sharing stuff that they love. And it's a community. And what I love is I feel like our podcast is an extension of that. And what's
Yeah.
really neat is being able to connect with other YouTubers like Neo Ness and Mr. Right Way. And, to do that and to basically take that experience of that community that we experience when we're at cons and stuff, and then extend it all year round into a program like this, because it's all good stuff. It's we're having a good time, making jokes, learning new stuff. Unfortunately, buying new stuff sometimes because
Oh,
Doug
yeah.
will be like,
We
oh, by
feed
the
off
way,
each other pretty well. So,
I don't know if you saw, I did send you. It's not part of our nerd news. I should have made it that, but it leaked all of the Steam sales coming up, and there's one coming for spring in March.
I've still got some money in my account left over. So
So
we're
I
going to do
sent
good.
that to you. See, guys,
Yeah.
this is what we do. We help each other out. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right, you ready to do some nerd news?
Yeah. Let's get into it. We got some really good stuff today.
All right, let's cue up the nerd news.
Nerd News.
All
All
right.
right. As you're getting the share going, now that I'm in the, let's not call it a cult, but I'm in the Apple Club, I've noticed a lot of things now. So we have a Apple event coming next week. The one big thing that they talked about is something new to the Apple family. So what, that gets my mind going. What is this new tech or new item or new thing that we're adding to the Apple line of products?
I'm curious about that too. There's been so many rumors for so many years. The two top rumors that always come back is an Apple TV. And I remember when the Apple TV came out, they thought it was going to be an actual TV, but it ended up being, the
Huh,
streaming box,
yeah.
and then an Apple car. So,
Oh man.
yeah, there's been a lot of rumors about new product lines. So this ought to be interesting. I didn't even know this was coming down the way till you told me about it.
Yeah, I
So yeah.
saw it pop up. There are some speculations about a new iPhone SE that's kind of a lesser model for those that just want a phone. And then the M4 MacBook Air, which seems pretty awesome.
Oh,
And,
really?
we can make speculations all day about what's going to happen.
Uh,
But Tim Cook says, get ready to meet the newest member of the family. So, wonder what he's
hmm.
referring to.
Well, they've got that iPhone SE4. The SE is popular because it's more affordable with all
Yes,
the same feature sets. Dude, a MacBook Air M4 would be awesome.
that
New
would be a
iPad.
powerful beast there.
Yeah. Ugh. We'll see what happens. We'll report on this next week when this bad boy hits.
All right.
All right. Next one. I'll take this one if you want.
Yeah,
Uh, you don't have a PlayStation though,
I
so
do not.
so we had Microsoft. We talked about they had their developers conference where they showcased upcoming video games. Nintendo has one coming up in April, I think, but it was excited because
I
it's the
think so,
Switch
yeah.
too. Yeah, it might be March though, but Nintendo's coming down the way because they had their teaser announcement for the Switch 2. So everybody got really excited. and Sony decided, hey, let's do it. Well, it's about 40 minutes long. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't great. Only because a lot of what they had are stuff that's already going to come out on other systems, and not a lot of
So it's not
exclusives.
very exclusive to
No, yeah.
PlayStation.
And that's
Yeah.
PlayStation's brand now, because they've got God of War, Last of Us, Spider-Man, where you have Xbox. They're democratizing. Xbox is in
Yeah.
this phase where they're starting to put everything's in your toaster's an Xbox. Like you can run the Xbox service on anything. So they're kind of stepping back. I think they're going to have one more Xbox console, and then after that, I think they're going to just
Switch
become,
to development.
yeah, almost like Steam. That's what I
Yeah.
think. They'll be more like a Steam house, which isn't a bad idea. So, but what we had, we'll run through very quickly. Monster Hunter. I don't know if you ever played any of the Monster
I
Hunters.
have not.
I'm not a huge fan of them. I've tried them on Switch. They're beautiful games, but I feel they're very button mashy.
Yeah.
And it's like the same patterns over and over again. Now, I know probably get a lot of hate because there's a lot of people that love Monster Hunter. It's I've never been able to get into it. So, but that's one of them.
Yeah.
Now, this is the only one. I'm not gonna say the only one, but one of the main ones. Do you ever play Shinobi
I
back in the day?
did, and I was looking up when the original one came out.
Yeah, it was on. They had a Shinobi arcade. They also had Shinobi on Nintendo, I think.
1987.
Oh, geez, probably back in the DOS days, maybe Commodore even.
Yeah, let me find a little bit more while you're telling us
Yeah,
about
so
this.
what I love about this, it looks great. The awesome thing is the graphics. It looks very Saturday morning cartoon to me, and I think that's what I like about it. Is I think this one looks awesome. Now, this is not exclusive to Sony. I think it's going to be on multiple platforms. They didn't, yeah. No, it does say at the end that is PS5 and PS4. So maybe they'll start there.
Oh,
So
nice.
maybe it is an exclusive.
So yeah, 1987, it released for the arcade cabinet,
The
along
arcade.
with Alex Kidd and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice. So yeah, I knew it was an arcade first.
I'm
Had a
getting
really
better at
cool
this
arcade game.
fact checking here.
You look at you. Look at you. All right, we got Sonic Racing. Now, this is essentially their version of Mario Kart. The game looks awesome, I will say.
Yep.
It has the rings for Sonic. You just mentioned Sonic, where you have to pick up the rings. It looks really good. So if you're into racing games, I wonder how this one stacks up in comparison to
Mario
some
Kart.
Mario Kart.
I
It's
think
definitely a
Mario Kart
knockoff.
has such a cult following.
It does. And it's a good game. It really is. So
Now, the
it's
one thing
interesting.
that'll help this, I think, is Sonic has seemed to come back super strong. I have a little nephew.
Because
He
of movies.
loves Sonic, has Sonic plushies, and he's watching all the movies.
Hey, maybe this'll have a resurgence,
Yeah.
because of that. So
And he tells me about Tails and Knuckles and the guy. There's another one.
Robotnik, Dr.
Yeah.
Robotnik. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Ones I never even knew about.
Oh, they've really been expanding the brand there. So, but
Yeah.
it looks like a good racing game.
Yeah.
Digimon story. Most people don't know this, but Digimon's been around for a long time. It's actually a direct competitor to Pokemon. It's just
Oh.
Pokemon seem to kind of catch fire, but they're still around, and this is their foray into it of their latest game. And there's been other Digimon games. It actually looks pretty good
It does look good.
if you're into that particular IP. But it's similar to Pokemon. It looks like it has a bit of an open world element to it, so it looks good.
Mhm.
Lost Soul Aside. This looks interesting. I couldn't really tell what it was. It looks almost Final Fantasy-esque to me, though.
Mhm.
So that looks so good. I've never played these. I hear they're hilarious, but
They
Like a
are.
Dragon, the Like a
Yeah.
Dragon, they got one now where you're a pirate in Hawaii. See, he has an electric guitar with a monkey. These games, by the way, are just weird. Dave the Diver. They're doing a crossover with those same characters from Like a Dragon, Ichiban's Holiday, it's called. But they take Dave the Diver, which if you haven't played it, awesome game, right?
Awesome game. Yep.
Well,
It works amazing on Steam Deck.
Well, they're taking and doing this crossover with these crazy over the top characters, but it's a fighter like Final Fight, like a side scrolling. So I don't know what they're doing, but I'd play it. Hopefully, it'll be free on my PlayStation. They also had the wrestling. I don't know. This is weird. I love the 2K series for wrestling, but they're doing this weird thing with the Samoan lineage, and it's like you're wrestling on an island now, like a Hawaiian island. I don't know what they're doing. It's like, dude, they're taking it out of the arenas. This
They're
feels
trying to
weird.
cross it with a normal fighting game
I
like Street Fighter, but
guess.
then I just saw like a first person run around open world
Yeah, I don't know,
concept.
bro. They may be losing me on that one. So, Borderlands 4. Did you ever play any of the Borderlands?
I have not, and I know
They're
I got
good.
hate mail coming, but
And they're good.
really good. Yes, I do have them on the PC, but I
They're
haven't
best
played them
they're
yet.
best with friends, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But they are repetitive. I will say that. It's a lot of run and gun. It's a lot of the same thing. But the amount of weapons in the game are just ungodly. It's insane. The amount of weapons. Like, we're talking hundreds of thousands, if not more than that. And so
yeah.
it's fun with friends, though. But we
Now,
got
the one thing I
Borderlands
do
4.
like about this series, I haven't played it yet, is kind of the art style.
Yeah,
It's
it's like
got
a
a
cell
like
shaded.
comic book feel, if I could
Yeah,
say that.
it does. I love the art style, and it's very unique for its time. Split Fiction. I want to make sure. I almost said faction. This is from the
Don't know that
same.
one.
Well,
Yeah.
this is from the same developers of, I believe it was It Takes Two, if I remember correctly. And the idea is it is a 2-player co-op. Yeah, it's from It Takes Two. It's a 2-player co-op where you got to work together to get through the mission.
Oh,
And
nice.
so, yeah, it looks really good. And if you haven't played It Takes Two, you definitely should pick it up. It's a good one. This looks interesting. This is from the same group that has done a lot of those horror ones, like The Quarry or Until Dawn, all those groups. So it's got a lot of motion capture, but you're on a spaceship. It's very alien feeling to it, and
Mhm.
you have to figure out, what's going on. There's something scary when you wake up from your cryo sleep. Sounds very typical, but it looks great.
It looked like Becoming Human Detroit,
I
like the
love that
graphic
game.
style.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of motion capture, but it does look that way. And I loved Detroit Becoming Human. That's a good call out, man. That's a great game. All right, what else we got? Another Five Nights at Freddy's. Yay. There's like a billion of those. We'll just keep on
I've
rolling.
already told you my stance on horror games, so
I know. Midnight Walk. It has a very Limbo feel to it to me, or like Little Nightmares is what it reminds me
oh,
of.
yeah.
It's okay. You have this cool Darwin's paradox. You're just a penguin. Or sorry, penguin. I don't know what I said that. I think it's because it's a P. You're an octopus, and it's
Okay.
not a penguin. Jeez, need more coffee. We're doing
It's
this.
early.
We're doing this in the morning. But it's it's a platformer, and
Yeah.
it looks really good. Kind of Little Big Planet Limbo-esque also, but it looks good. It looks good.
Some of these scenes in here remind me of, I'm going way back, Abe's Odyssey, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very. I bet it's definitely a spiritual successor to that. Abyss Warriors, again, I don't know. It just looked very Dynasty Warriors like. If you ever played those, they're like button smash. See all those enemies on the screen? You just
There's
smash,
so
smash.
much stuff going
Oh
on
my god.
screen, it's hard to
Yeah.
concentrate, it looks
It
like.
reminds me of Dynasty Warriors. So,
Yeah.
Onimusha, this is the second one. These also can be a bit button mashy, in my opinion. But these all have like cult followings to them.
Now,
But
my
they're
opinion is this, and I'm sure they did it on purpose. The graphics look very like PS2 era, PS3 era,
ye-
kind of
yeah,
grainy.
it is. It's like they're
But
rooted in
they
yeah
did that on purpose to kind of keep the
the aesthetic.
feel of it. Yeah, the
Yeah,
aesthetic. That's
which
what I'm looking for.
they have another one, Onimusha, Way of the
Now,
Sword.
the next one looks great,
Yeah, this one
like
looks.
modern graphics, and
Yeah, it does. Yeah, this one looks a little better.
yeah.
So, yeah. And then everybody's excited about Metal Gear. Have you played any of the Metal Gear games?
I have. I played quite a few of them, but I did not play this one. This looks like it's a remake or a
It is
remaster.
a Snake
Yeah,
Eater. Which, don't quote me. Snake
I did
Eater
not
was
play
on
that
the
one.
GameCube. It was on one of the systems that I didn't have, but
I'll
I'd
look
play it.
that up.
It looks good. Looks good. I think Snake Eater was one of them. That while you're looking that bad boy up, I'm gonna keep on clicking. There's a lot of these. Hell is Us. This one looked pretty okay up to a point, but it's basically like, I don't know, like a messed up Brave New World futuristic. I couldn't get a sense of, it's like they had lightsabers in it, then they had aliens. It had a very
It's all
odd
over the
feel.
place.
It is. It looked good at first. And I'm like, it looks weird.
So we've got Snake Eater for the PS2 in
PS2.
2004.
Gotcha. PS2.
It also went to the 3DS, if I'm reading the right thing.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Very cool. This one looked weird. Dreams of Another. It looks like they love their particle effects. All you have this machine gun,
Yeah.
and you have to shoot things to make them appear.
So a lot of ray tracing issues there.
It's not so much ray tracing; it's particle effects. Notice
Oh, okay.
it's all particles. Ray tracing would be if
It
there was
looks
a lot of.
very trippy.
It does look trippy. I don't
There's
know.
a guy slapping a clown
It's,
in the end of it.
it's
I
so
don't know what's
weird.
going on.
It's so weird. All right, we'll keep on rolling.
Okay.
Days Gone. Oh my god, great game. I don't think it needs a remastered though. I mean, this game came out in like 2019, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen a
Beautiful.
lot of screens from this on YouTube or
It's a
videos, I should
great
say, but
game.
it's still stuck on PS5. I can't get it over on
It is. This is one of
PC.
the exclusives. This game is awesome. Great story, awesome gameplay. One of the best zombie games I've played. I loved it. However, it doesn't need a remaster. I don't know what they're doing. Whatever. So keep on. Boy, there was a lot through here. A lot of these though, there's just nothing really excited about. I'm just gonna scroll through here, see.
Yeah.
Mind's Eye. Yeah. Most of it was just kind of meh. I know there's a lot of games, but none of them were really like huge surprises, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's a lot of kind of first of its kind. There's not
Yeah,
a lot. There's not
which
back history on it.
which is good. I mean, it's good that they do that, but I don't know. I think if people were hoping for big. And the other thing is Sony may be just sitting back, being like, let's see what Nintendo does.
Yeah.
Or they could be like, we don't really have to push a lot of new games. We have Grand Theft Auto coming out this year.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep on rock and roll because there's a lot in that one. This was funny. I told you about this last night. I'll make this a quick one. So I found this article and it said, hey, finally, Netflix on the Apple TV. One of the defining features of the Apple TV is you're able to do a search and it'll search across your different subscriptions. So you go to one place. You would say
Which
you
is
love
an
that
amazing
feature.
feature.
It is.
Yes.
Well, Netflix finally says, hey, we're going to play well with you guys. And now when you do that search, you can find your stuff on our service and you can add it to your Apple TV watch list.
Yeah.
Literally, dude, this was yesterday at 8:25. I was like, oh, this is a really cool article and put this in for Nerd News. That evening, same day, actually not that evening, that afternoon at 1:17.
Yeah, I saw
a
that.
new article says Netflix says that its brief Apple TV app integration was a mistake. The short-lived support for Apple TV's watch list has been rolled back, according to the spokesperson. So
Now I wonder if they are going to do it, but there's some bugs
maybe.
in the system. I don't know.
Who
That would be
knows?
nice, and that is one of the underrated features of the Apple TV.
Yep, it is.
You've told me for years to get that, but I'm like, oh man, I've been watching the show. I don't know where it's at. Go to Apple TV, boom, it
It's
takes
awesome.
you right to it.
It is. So we'll see what happens with this, but it's one of those things where I'm glad I caught it because we would have reported it on the Nerd News as, oh yeah, you can do this now, and then it would be
And
wrong.
then
So
no.
this tells you how fast news can change. It's hard to stay up on it. So
Oh yeah.
all right, this is interesting. I'll let you take this bad boy.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons. They're working on a live action for Netflix, but hey, can't find it on your Apple TV. Anyways,
And they'll probably cancel it after first season
but
anyway.
they probably
Sorry, we're throwing hate.
You know,
at Netflix.
we got to keep it going. Boom, boom. There's live action in the works for Dungeons Dragons. Now, there's been a couple movies. There's one
really good one.
10, 15 years ago. Then there was
Not that
another one.
Not that one. Not the 10,
Yeah.
15 years
And
ago.
then there was one that just happened that I thought was really good.
Oh, it was awesome. That had Chris Pine in it. I loved it. And
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be doing more of that. Now, this show is being helmed by Sean Levy, who, if you saw a little bit of Deadpool action, the last one that just came out, Deadpool 3, he was the one that was the director for that. So I'm hoping
I looked him up on IMDb. He's got some good stuff. Adam Project, Free Guy, Arrival. He's got some really good stuff. So that gives me hopes that this is going to be a pretty good one.
What makes me excited about this, did you watch I asked you last night when we were playing Civilization, you watched Secret Levels on Amazon Prime?
I did. It was awesome, I thought.
The first episode was D&D.
Yeah. I thought they did a really good job. And I like that really short clips.
I love
and then
it.
the Warhammer episode.
Oh, that was brutal.
I haven't played Warhammer yet, but it is on my list.
I've never gotten into Warhammer, but that made me want to. I will say that.
It is awesome.
It looks good. All right, let's nerd out later. Oh, boy. Were you going to go see Captain America Brave New World or not?
I don't know. I know nothing about Red Hulk. I know in the comics, but
I know a little bit, but
You
It's
know,
not
I
doing well. That's why I'm asking.
I kinda quit, the Marvel franchise after the Infinity Wars
Me
because I
too.
thought,
I
"What a
backed off.
great ending." I know they're trying to reboot it, I know there's another segment of, the, Avengers, so I don't
They're
know
tr
if I'll get back into it.
they're trying to capture lightning in a bottle again, and I
Yeah,
think I think they need to stop, and I think they need to, like, rethink it.
yeah,
To me, even when I look at Brave New World, it has a very feel to it of it should have just gone straight to be one of the shows on Disney Plus, in
I
my
think so,
opinion.
yeah.
Now, the other thing is, like, I've seen all kinds of weird stuff with if you don't know, Ford is the main, like, president in this, and he's Red Hulk. I'm not ruining anything. The trailer shows you that.
Yeah,
They didn't tell him he was gonna be Red Hulk. He didn't even really read the script. It just makes me think it's a bit of a money grab on his part, but he's an amazing actor, so I'm sure he's great in it. But they say it's very weak. It's only getting a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is now, I think, only second to Madam Web on one of the worst
and
received
that was a bad one.
releases for the Marvel universe. So,
Yeah.
yeesh.
I still go back to you lost a bunch of fans after Infinity Wars
They peaked.
because
They
it's
peaked.
like, "Boom, this is it. That was
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, let's go on to something else."
It's that feeling of, it's like when somebody peaks in high school, and then you see the old, football jock at the games, and he's still dressing like he used to, and he's still
Uh,
got the feathered hair,
you
and
gotta
you're like,
rock that 6 pop collar there.
yeah, but everybody's like, "God, this guy's so lame. He peaked in
Yeah.
high school. He never changed." That's what we're looking at you, Disney. You're doing that with Marvel. Don't
Stop
do
with
it
the
with
pop
Star
collar.
Wars. Don't do it
Yeah.
with Star Wars. My god. Alright. Keep on trucking here. Oh, I'm excited about this. I know a lot of people aren't, but you all freaking should be. I
Yeah.
love this series. Go ahead.
Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon Prime.
It's been renewed.
Great show. So I think it started a little slow. People were really worried,
Yeah.
like, hey, the movies were amazing. The Hobbit was amazing. Don't mess this up. Well, I think it's redeemed itself, at least in my opinion. And season 3 should be really good. Season 2 just kicks some butt.
Yep, it's been
So I'm
renewed
excited to see it come back.
officially because it was a bit teetering back and forth. There's controversy around this in that the purist for Lord of the Rings criticize it and they say, well, this isn't the story's been altered a little bit. You're doing things out of sequence with the original story, all this stuff, the purist, but come on, you got to have some creative freedoms, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I think it's a racist, but people are complaining about, well, you have black dwarves aren't black, they have white hair, and you also have black sorry, I meant to say elves, but the same thing, there are black dwarves too. I love the diversity, and I wish,
Yeah.
honestly, the movies even had the diversity in it. And the reason why I love it, I don't know, I think it just, first of all, the actors are just impeccable in this show. And I
Mhm.
love the diversity between the dwarves and the elves. I love the way they've been doing it. So I don't know. I'm in love with the show. I think it's crushing it. I'm hoping Amazon is true to it, and I think people will come around to it. And it's a great story. It's just well done. So I'm excited about it getting it renewed.
I'm going off track a little bit, but looking this up, making sure that it was still on my list of stuff to watch. Amazon's has some really good stuff right now. I've kind
They
of
do.
put them on the
Back
back
burner.
burner
They got good
of,
stuff.
yeah, but I looked today. I added a whole bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
lots of movies and shows, so they're
Yeah.
doing good.
I always forget about them. And I think it's because it's part of my Prime membership, and I don't think of it as a
And
separate
it's
streaming
just
service I'm
included
paying
and
for.
it's just sitting there. Yeah.
My wife and I said, we said last episode Netflix, and I got the email that Netflix is jacking the prices up again.
They are. Yeah.
My wife and I were like, some days you could just like pretty much cut them all out and just stick with Prime, and you'd be fine.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could rent whatever you wanted on it, for
Mhm.
$3 to $5. So, all right, if you're into collecting DVDs, especially physical media, because a lot of people are getting soured on the whole streaming thing because prices keep going up, as we just said. There is a massive 4K Blu-ray sale going on at Amazon right now, and there are some good deals, dude. Like, I flipped through this, and there's full box sets of Predator, the 4 movie collection. I mean, you're talking John Wick series, chapters 1 through 4, for Blu-ray for $30,
That is cheap.
dude. Rush Hour trilogy, $15. Mummy trilogy, 4K. It's not, it's $35. The
Yeah.
whole Office complete series for 52. Normally 75. Sopranos, dude. If I was into collecting, I'll tell you what, sometimes I get pretty annoyed with what they're doing on some of these streamings. But look at the movies. Alien Romulus, by the way, which was on streaming. You can get. They have a. I love that they did a DVD release for. Sorry, a Blu-ray release for it.
Well, they even have a Steelbook limited edition series. So
Yeah,
we go back to the episodes where I talk about they don't have collectibles anymore. So
they don't. They don't. But they're still putting out some of these, so that's cool.
yeah,
So if you guys are wanting to, if you're a doomsday prepper, like our some of our good friends, I don't want to drop his name. Uh, if you're a doomsday
he
prepper,
knows who he is.
he knows who he is, and he's always he's big into DVDs because he's worried the world's going to end
But when
because
the
of the
world does
aliens.
end and we need to go watch a movie,
I know.
we
I won't
know
make
a
fun of
guy.
him. I'll be like, dude, I'm so glad you bought all these
Can I
Blu-rays.
get some of that Star Wars, please?
The Chappelle. Can I get some of them? All right, let's go ahead and stop the share. All right. We have an interesting, we're going to get kind of technical on you today, but we're going to try not to bore you for our main topic. But it's something that I really wanted to share because it's been a bit of a journey. And let's talk about photos. And when I say photos, recently California had a lot of wildfires, Doug, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And I remember in the interviews of these people were losing their homes. It was very sad. What do you think? What's one of the things that people would run into the house to grab before they left?
I would say photos,
Photo albums.
stuff that is sentimental to them.
Yep, spot on. And so it's different now, though, because with you're a big camera guy. I
Yeah.
know that was your holdout going from Android over to the actual Apple, and I know you still feel like the phone camera isn't quite as good,
It
which
is not.
I would tend to agree with you on that. But everything's digital. Like, do you print
Yeah.
out your photos anymore and put them in albums? I don't.
I do not. I share the family vacation on Facebook or other social media just for everybody to see. Otherwise, it's just sitting in my cloud, Google Cloud, and then I have the iCloud now.
Yeah.
So
So that's where my struggle comes in. So I have, and you don't want to lose those, right? And I have like over 10,000 photos, probably more, going back decades upon decades. And so I have been very discontent. I started with just hard drives. I had multiple hard drives. And because I'm an IT guy, I'm really big on redundancy, right? So I'd have, a 2 terabyte drive with all the photos on it. And then I would take our iPhones and I would plug them into the computer, drag them over to the hard drives. I didn't really do any type of sorting or management with it. And then I would copy that drive to another drive in case one of them failed. I did that for years. But the problem is you get duplicates. You get duplicates because sometimes you don't clear your phone off. You get like all that kind of a stuff, right? So that's kind of messy. Then I went the route of, okay, well, let's go Google. So I went Google Photos. I loved that it automatically backed up, and I even drug stuff out there. My fundamental problem with Google's is I have two rules for what I want to do with my photos. I want them backed up so that they're safe, but then I want them to be easily retrievable.
yeah,
My problem with Google Photos, and I don't know if you've noticed this, I wish you could go to like Google Drive and then go to like a folder that had the photo files in it, but you can't do that. You can only do it through the photo app or through a photo URL, like a link to get to it. And then at that, you're not like dealing with the files, you're just sorting them. So I couldn't find stuff as easily out of it. And it wasn't easy to organize my photos, I didn't think, with that service. So then I pivoted to Microsoft because I was already going to pay for a subscription for other things with their Office. So I put it in OneDrive. OneDrive, very similar, except OneDrive screwed me over this past Christmas where we always do a Christmas calendar and my daughter does it and she was flipping through and it was so weird. You would go back to August of 2024 and then it was showing pictures from like back in 2015.
oh man,
It jacked up somehow the metadata got screwed up on copy and it jacked it up. So that sent me on this path of, okay, I want to be able to have peace of mind. And I don't want to, I could fall back to doing the hard drives again, but I want to be able to have peace of mind in the backup and I want to be able to easily find it. So then I discovered NAS. Do you know what a NAS is?
I believe. I don't know what the acronym stands for, but it's like it's servers at your residence, right?
You're spot on. Network
Okay,
attached storage.
okay,
That's what it is. And there's a lot of ways you can do. You can get a Raspberry Pi, like what you had in your arcade. and you
Yeah.
can make your own. I researched
Oh.
that for a while. You're gonna spend a lot of time though, like building it up. And then I stumbled across the company that's pretty much known as the best ones for it. They're called Synology, and I will bring that up here. Now, I will warn you. I think it's a little pricey because they also have they have, I guess it would be like business class or level for this company,
Mhm.
but I went with the home class. So while I bring that up real quick, like, so you're still using Google Photos? Are you happy with it?
I am. I agree that they're kind of just you have to find your photo in amongst all the others. The one thing I do like about Google is you can kind of train it to recognize faces. I even have it recognizing my dog. So if I type in my dog's name, it'll pull up all the pictures of my dog, cats as well. Um, but it is kind of hard to navigate unless you know what day or what year, or you've trained Google to find it. So
Gotcha.
that's kind of my complaint about it.
I get it. Let me share this real quick, just so everybody has a general idea of what I'm talking about. So this is a 2 bay. That means there's 2 hard drives that go into it. So that means I had to buy the enclosure and then I had to buy hard drives. Now what I did, I ended up just getting like a 4 terabyte single drive. And later I'm going to add a second one. And then that gives you the redundancy. So I'm just getting started because I wanted to know if I would like it. It's very small. It has a Linux-based server inside of it. So you don't have to do any configuration. It was cake to set up.
Oh,
The
nice.
downside, it's a little pricey. Okay. But reason why I wanted to showcase it is because it specifically calls out photos. You put your photos in this bad boy, and it has the ability that you set conditional photo album rules, and there's an AI in it that'll do it for you. So, for example, I could say, give me an album of Doug, and it can detect faces and do an album of Doug. I can do it by date range, and it does it off the metadata off the file. So it does all kinds of stuff. So I still have a lot of work to do in organizing my photos with this bad boy, but once I set it up, I was pretty impressed with it, and it really surprised me in the fact that you not only can use it for your photo backup, but it does more than that. And I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. I'm going to show you guys this because you and I were talking about this. And I think it's why it's so expensive is because beyond just like the photo management, and I didn't honestly know fully that it could do all this stuff. So what you're seeing here, this is a web browser. And I want to be clear. It looks like a computer because this is the operating system.
Hmm.
Okay. And see, so on this bad boy, it is the OS, and I'm in it in a browser. And you can get to it from the internet or you can get to it from your house. So anywhere. There's also mobile phone apps. So you put it on Android, iOS, and then you can get to your stuff. Now, I'm using it for backing up files, but also photos. But here's what's really cool. You go inside of this package center here. These are applications of what all it can do for you. It can be an antivirus. Like you can route your traffic through it for antivirus. Obviously, you can
Nice.
make it a file server. Here's what else is cool. Cloud Sync. I did this. What you can do with this, if you do have Google Drive or Google Cloud, or if you're using OneDrive with Microsoft, if you set this up, it will back up your cloud. So, Doug, you got your photos out in Google Photos right now. If you
Yep.
did this, it would go out to your Google Cloud, pull your files down, and this would be a backup for that.
That'd be nice. And,
And
I think I'm paying like $2.99 a month for what, 100 gigs or
yeah,
whatever it is.
yeah,
Yeah.
200 gig. I think that's
Or, yeah.
is it gig? 200? I think so. It's
Yeah.
been a
It's
while.
not a terabyte. Yeah.
It's not a terabyte, yeah. And so, so you can back up your cloud. You can do all kinds of like business class things. If you wanted it to be your own email server, you could.
Oh,
Like it gets
man.
really heavy. Here's what's
Yeah.
interesting. It has its own media server. What that means is if you wanted, we were just talking about if you had Blu-rays or whatever, if you wanted to digitize them and put them on here, and this could be a hosted Netflix out of your house. If you think about that for a moment.
That'd be amazing. I've looked at ripping DVDs, and I
I've done
think
it.
there is a fine line of ripping DVDs as long as you own the backup. It's kind of like the ROM
ROMs.
debate.
Yep.
If you have a backup of your ROM, we're okay with that.
Exactly.
So that would be awesome to rip all the DVDs I
You could
have and put it on there.
you could put it on there, and then with the app, it basically and you can watch them elsewhere in the world. You don't have to be just at your house.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool. You can have your own VPN server if you're worried about security. It also has web station, which is if you wanted to host your own website out of your house. So you said it. You said it's a server essentially at your house.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it is. Now, I want to be clear. We're not getting paid by Synology. This is not a sponsored podcast. I'm just sharing with you what its capabilities are. And there are other branded products like that that do this, but Synology is kind of one of the top tier ones, and it's the one that I end up going with. If you're a developer and you know coding like PHP or Perl, you can host your code on it. I mean, dude, it just goes on and on and on. Like what all it can do, it can become a radio sync or like a music sync
Oh, nice.
if you want to be able to stream your music. Plex Media Server is pretty popular. That again is like if I click it here, it's like the Netflix out of your house, or if you wanted it to be like your own Spotify based out of your house. So I didn't realize. I think this is so expensive because if where this is good, it started for me being about photos, right? But I didn't realize, and this is an expensive option to go with. It took me forever to commit to it. But then I realized the reason why it's so expensive, these devices don't just do serving up photos, backing up photos so you can get to them quickly and sorting and all that kind of stuff. It also allows you to do this. So if you have tons of MP3s, if you have tons of ripped DVDs, you could throw it on this bad boy and you can watch it anywhere in the world. And basically, you have your own Netflix. So if you are that doomsday prepper guy, you rip all your DVDs and you have enough hard drive space, you could have your own. And here's the cool thing, you can set it up to where you have guests. So I could actually create a guest account for you, Doug, and you could stream all my movies at your house just like Netflix.
See, that'd be amazing.
And I looked up the Apple TV. Apple TV has these apps in their store. So it would just be an app on your Apple TV. And the next thing you know, when you launch that app, you are browsing my Synology server hosted at my house and you're looking at my content. And it's the same for if you wanted to look at my photos. If I
Yeah.
wanted to share my photos with you or my DVD collection that's been ripped or my music, you could basically become your own service. So I was excited about this and I got it and I didn't I knew it could do some of it, but I didn't know it extents. And you literally just click install and then all of a sudden the server just does it for you.
That's amazing. The question for you is, since you've got this, you're still kind of learning how to use it and
I
everything.
am.
Will you stop your Google Drive,
No.
iCloud accounts?
No.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do, I've thought long and hard about this. I will stop putting my photos out in Google Drive. I've already stopped Google Drive, putting my photos out in Google Photos. I'm gonna stop putting my photos in OneDrive. I will use pretty much Google Drive for my files. If you go into the file section here, I have this file server, and if I open it, you'll see what it looks like. Right here, see? I've already synced my Google Drive
Oh,
and
nice.
my OneDrive. So what's nice is if I have taxes, for example, or you and I have different stuff that we do for Wired Nerdy that are
Yeah.
documents or things like that, that's all in my Google Drive. What's cool? It's out here too. So now if I can't get to my Google Drive, and by the way, Google's had outages before where you can't get to stuff. So what's awesome about this is that if there's ever a cloud outage, I can still get to it because this is the backup for my cloud. So I'm going to keep it for files. So I'm going to keep Google Drive for files and obviously OneDrive for files, mainly because OneDrive using it for office and for other productivity things. But I'm going to make this my exclusive photos. Now, the other part I got to figure out, I went in my photos and I have to sort all of these. These photos are not sorted. I've got to like, because if, for example, if you go into, I have the I think it was just backup. Um, and if you go inside of here we go, iPhone's photos backup. See these? They're just all these folders, and it's a lot of them are duplicates. So what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna pull all the photos out of this, get it into a root directory, and then I'll use the photo app itself to start creating albums. And then I can back up those albums. What's really cool is a single click option. Once you make albums, if you wanted to send these to a service like to Walgreens to get them printed, you can just click a single button and it'll send the whole album to Walgreens to get printed with size and everything.
That's amazing.
So if you wanted to get paper copies, you really could. So I've got to do a lot of sorting. I've got all my photos on here now. I've turned off my photos for syncing to the cloud. I'm still going to use the cloud essentially for files, but yeah, man, my journey's still early in this, but I'm really I'm really enjoying it so far, and I was just excited to share it. Now the downside is I did want to point out it can be costly because you got to buy a hard drive. I mean, I only bought one hard drive. and this thing can do too. It's a little expensive, but to your point, Doug, if you're spending so much on a service per year, you could argue the point that if you could take that money and put it in, you also have the risk of hardware failure. These are standard spinning drives, they're not solid state. However, they're server class drives. That's why they're so expensive. So they're meant
No.
to last a very long time, and you can
Mhm.
read and write to them a lot. So the other part, I'm shocked on how fast this thing was. I had, I think it was a grand total of, gosh, it's probably about 700 gig. It was almost a terabyte. And I
Yeah.
think it synced all of that over Wi Fi, mind you, probably within about 45 minutes.
I mean, that's fast. You look at that
Yeah.
10 years ago, and that's lightning speed.
Yeah. And then when I synced it to the cloud, now that took probably about an hour or two.
Yeah.
And I'm syncing 2 clouds to it as well. And it has RAM and CPU on it. It's just like I said, it's a little server. That's why it looks like this interface looks like, even though I'm in a browser, like you're on a PC, but it's Linux based. So
It looks very easy to use.
super
So,
easy.
for me and those out there listening and watching, can you explain what would be the benefit of? Uh, I guess I got to change my question. Should the person out there get one of these and have the Google and iCloud, or just go to this? If that's a good
If
question.
you so the only way I would suggest that you go to this and drop cloud is if you don't do what I did. Make sure you load it up with your hard drives, because the
Okay.
hard drives are what's called RAID. All that means is it's redundancy. That means if one drive fails, something, I don't want to get too technical, but there's something called striping that takes place. That means when you copy a file to one drive, it immediately copies it to the others down the stream. Since there's 2 drives in this, if one fails, you're always going to have it.
Oh,
Now, they
good.
do sell versions of this that have like 4 hard drives in them, 5 hard drive. Like, you can go really crazy with it, but that's getting more business class. So I would say yes, somebody could pivot to this and drop all their cloud services, because you are essentially able to get to all your files from anywhere in the world, and you have
Nice.
redundancy in place. You're essentially making a private cloud in your home. Now, Western Digital, another company, tried to do this on like a cheaper level. It was called the Western Digital My Cloud. It failed miserably, and they ended up pulling it off the market. And the reason why, they kept getting hacked, they forced you to go to their cloud website in order to get to your hard drive at home.
Mhm.
That's not what this is. This bad boy hosts everything itself out of your house. So it's way more secure. So that means it's behind your firewall. So yes, people could completely go to this. One argument that I would say, at least the reason why I'm keeping Google for Files specifically, is Google's so cheap on their store. You're at $2 a
Yeah.
month. I'm like, I don't care. It's nice to have more storage and not enough. Now, I do have peace of mind that I can get to my files if there's ever an outage with Google or with Microsoft. So I am going to continue to use it for files. I am going to also get into I may rip some DVDs and do some media server stuff on it, but I wanted a file server because I had gotten a Raspberry Pi 5 and I was going to make it a file server at one point, and I just haven't had time. Now I have a file server and I have something for my photos. And if I wanted to do any kind of a streaming, I could do that.
Nice.
So I have a lot more options now. And it's just, if you're geeky and you want something to play with, I would recommend it. It was super easy to set up, I will say. Now, I did have to put the hard drives in myself. They just slot it in. It's cake. So I think a novice could do it. Where it gets a little bit more complicated is when you go and do these packages. If you want to make your own DHCP server, DNS server, web server, mail server, you probably need some IT experience for that. If you want to do your own database, you know, the thing, you can do that. I would, if I were you, I would study up a little bit.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of stuff. There is a USB port, by the way. I see this. There's this USB copy. This is cool. If you install this, there's a USB port on the back of it, and it says USB copy helps you copy files between your Synology NAS and an external USB. So remember, I had all those hard drives. If I
Mhm.
just clicked install, what would happen is when I would plug in one of those hard drives, or any hard drive or thumb drive you have, it'll just grab everything and throw it into the system.
Without you asking, or
Just
yeah.
does it. Just
Nice.
does it. So this could be a quick way of doing it as well. Now, there is an app that's on my phone, a Synology app, and all I do is I set it up, and it now real time, it's grabbing my photos and putting them at my house here.
And how was the setup on that? Because I
Kick.
have on an iPhone now, I have it going instead from the cloud, I have it going to, Google Photos instead,
Yep.
because that's what I'm using.
Yep. It's very similar. I just downloaded the Synology Photos app, and then when you set up your server in your house, it gives you a URL that you can get to, which I'm not showing it. Hopefully, if I am, I'm going to block it off at the top. But it is two-factor authenticated, but it's publicly facing. So all you do is on your iPhone, you just type in that URL, and you type in your credentials, and then you basically trust it, and it does a certification trust, and then at that point your phone is now forever linked to that server at your house, and you don't have to do
Oh,
anything.
very
It
good.
was
Yeah.
cake. It was cake. So yeah, a little geeky, kind of fun.
Yeah,
I like getting into projects like this every now and then. Now I have this like Raspberry Pi, and I'm like, I guess I could use it for another purpose now. So I love doing these little projects, and
absolutely.
yeah, I'm in
Well,
the right
no, I
field.
think I've learned so much. I am currently looking at all the NASA's on, Amazon, so
Hmm. Oh yeah,
developing a plan of probably doing the same thing.
it's awesome. It's like I said, the downside is a bit pricey if you do Synology. Now there are off-brand ones, but I believe the
I see a lot
advantage
of U green.
there are. But the advantage to Synology is what I'm showing you here. These built-in apps
Yep.
are like they're turnkey. Like literally, when I like the cloud sync, I'll show you that. Like literally, I just said install cloud sync, right? All I had to do was just click this plus symbol and looky here. These are all the clouds you can sync to.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
then I chose, for example, Microsoft OneDrive, and I choose next, put in my credentials. Look, Google Drive. Like all I did is just click next and put in your credentials. Done. Like
See,
that's the advantage of Synology, I think, compared to the others,
yeah.
is that you're not like typing stuff in.
This is the danger of this show is you showed me something and I
Oh,
thought,
uh-oh.
yeah, I'm probably gonna have to buy that.
You can save up for. Now they do have. I don't know if they have a single drive version of Synology. I think a two
I
bay.
I see that 2 bay on Amazon's only about 190.
You
I'd
just got
say
to drive the
only
hard.
190.
You got to get the hard drive though. Look up.
Oh, it does not come with a hard drive.
No,
That's where they
that's
get you.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
okay.
and I only bought one. I bought like go ahead and if you look it up, I bought a 4 terabyte Synology drive, and it's an actually
Yeah.
branded Synology drive. That means that it's server class, so you don't have to worry about as much failure and
Yeah,
that sort of thing.
$100 for a 4 terabyte?
Good deal. Although with tariffs coming down the way, I do want to warn everybody. This is just in general, not just for this project. If you're going to be building a PC, if you're going to be building one of these file servers, if you're going to be doing anything with technology, do it now or wait. The reason why, within the March timeframe, when these tariffs really start to hit, and I'm talking across the board, we're going to feel it everywhere. And now, this is not a political thing at all. This is economics, my friends.
Yeah.
It's going to hit video game industry. It's going to hit the hardware industry. It's going to hit the technology industry. Tariffs, you have to be careful with them. They're what caused the Great Depression in some form or fashion because we were heavy isolationists at that time, and we were doing a lot of tariffs. We do have protections in place. I'm not saying the Great Depression is going to happen. We have protections in place now, so that's not what I'm saying. All I am saying is chips, storage, RAM, it's going to get expensive. Period. And that cost is always handed off to us as consumers. That is not tariffs are not a tax. That is paid by a government. What happens is the company, if I am Nvidia and I am sending my product is made in another country and I send it to the United States, my chips, like my video cards, I will then get a 25% hike up on my price. You know what I'm going to do? I'm gonna pass it on to Doug when he wants to go buy his 4090 video card. And
Yeah.
instead of it being $1,000, it's gonna be 25% on top of that. And Doug's gonna have to pay that. That's what's gonna happen. So if you have any major like technology projects or things, I suggest do it now, price shop, or wait for a while till some of this stuff calms down and the markets get better because we're in for some volatility. And luckily, I did this like I invested in this right around Christmas time. So I got really good deals on it, but just be mindful of that if you're buying hard drives and that sort of thing, because I don't want people to like go out there, especially you don't see this episode for a month, and then now we're in the spring. We're recording this right now in February, and you're later in the spring. You're like, holy crap, this Synology drive is $500. It's not right now, but
Yep.
it could get that way. So that's my warning to everybody.
No, that's good advice. Yeah.
So I know, little technical, but backing up photos is important, and a lot of people don't know how to do it, and it's fun. Now I did look into. You talked about the Colt. I did look into Apple iCloud. But did you know iCloud is not intended for photo backup exclusively? And everything I read on Reddit and even Apple themselves says do not use iCloud as your sole backup for your photos. It's not intended for photo backup and retention exclusively. It's meant for your files across all of your Apple devices, and it's also meant for you to recover your phone quickly. Like, so
Oh,
if you have a
nice.
crash.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. Now, I've seen videos. There's a lady out there had a great video series about like how she uses it for photo backup, but there's some nuances and people have gotten burned by it because sometimes it overwrites files. And the big thing is if you delete a file on your phone, sometimes it'll delete it from iCloud. You need something that if you want to clear space on your phone, you want to know that it's safe in your backups. iCloud has some kludginess with that, so I backed away from it because I'm like, oh well, I'm an Apple guy. Let's go Apple. And a lot of people do use it for backup. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
can't. Even Apple themselves says it's not ideal, and they suggest that you use a cloud service like Dropbox, or which is expensive, by the way. I love Dropbox, but it's kind of costly. That's another one that I looked at. So see, I've been going on this journey for a while now, and when I finally landed on this, I was like, you know what? I want to share it because it seems like it took me forever to figure some of this stuff out, and I'm in IT for God's sake. There's no like easy turnkey way for you to just get your files and be able for them to be recoverable. So that's why I wanted to dive into this today. So I think
Yeah.
that's it.
I've learned all kinds of stuff.
Fun times. You want to bring us home,
Yeah.
Dougie?
Yeah, we want to thank everybody so much. Back to that, we got 500. We're going to keep bringing you the stuff we love, all the passion about games, videos, movies. We're going to talk to some really good people. We got some big events coming up. I'm
We do.
super excited about. I got everything on my calendar. Hopefully, I don't forget. Lots of
If it's on
coffee.
your calendar, you better not forget.
Yeah.
We got some fun stuff coming down the way.
Yeah.
We
So
got
it's
an
super
Instagram.
exciting this year.
We got an Instagram. We got a Facebook. We
Yep.
got our store if you want some merch.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be going to some retros. We're going to have some more guests on. It's going to be a full year. It's going to be fun as we head into the summer. Right now, poor Dougie, he's buried with, he's in his busy season for his career right now. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
we just got to get through that. And then
I got some free time coming up in a couple months, so it'll be good.
It'll be good. So it's going to be fun. But we appreciate everybody joining us. Hopefully this has been beneficial to you. It's kind of fun to geek out about these things. And we will see you on episode number 6 coming down the way. And we hope the week treats you well. Take care.
See ya.